So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining us from. Welcome to today's Global PX Town Hall series, which is going to be on a very interesting topic. It's the power of storytelling. Uh, we'll keep our context relevant to the Office of CFO, B2B FinTech SaaS, given that both of them collaborate with each other very closely. So I'm delighted to have all of you here and wanted to thank you for joining us today. My name is Sudipta. I'll be the host for today's session. Super excited agenda planned. We'll be deep diving, having a fireside chat with Michael Kirsten. Michael, thank you so much. Let me maybe start the session with a bit of storytelling on a little bit about what I know about Michael, and then I'll probably let Michael talk a little bit about himself, right? So let me tell what I know about him. So Michael comes with like 20 years long career. He has held several leadership roles in marketing, corporate brand, and communications. He's lived in some exciting places, right? He's lived in Switzerland, Australia before moving back to his hometown. And guess where the place is? It's the place where the hamburger was supposedly invented. You guessed it right. His hometown is in Hamburg, in Germany. And he's actually on a journey to help others make their marketing more human by telling authentic stories that help solve problems, that inspire humans to connect with them. uh, he is driven by sharing stories openly and honestly with others. So really keen to have him here, have him share his stories. And I believe that according to him, the best way to connect with other humans, and the one thing that he enjoys most is connection, right? So truly excited about the chat and the opportunity to connect all of us with Michael. So let's dive right in. And first thing that I really want to ask Michael is a little bit about his background, where he grew up, his hobbies, interests, and maybe what his plans are for the weekend. So over to you, Michael.
Not quite sure if the plans of my weekend are that exciting. Let's start with that. First of all, thank you for having me. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I know there is the whole world is taking place today. Yeah, thanks for having me. I really appreciate that. You have already said a few things about me, but about me more as a person, not maybe as a professional, because I think you can't disconnect both. I am 74 years old, as you can say from my gray hair. And I was born in East Germany. My parents came to Hamburg when I was 13 years old. I studied here political science and business. And then I ended up somehow like a miracle in marketing, and spent my last 20 years there. Most time with one of the largest recruitment providers in the world. Had several marketing roles there. Then I worked 2 years in my own business, and then with a fintech company over the last couple of months. I am the very proud father of a 19-year-old daughter who is at the moment in South Africa traveling the world. She's by far the best thing I've ever done. So everything of professional life doesn't really matter. It's my daughter. As you said, I lived for a few years in Australia, in Sydney, and for a few years in Switzerland. Both very interesting and different countries, but I really enjoyed it. Gave me a lot of insights about other cultures and other people, obviously. And in my free time, I try to hang around with friends and family as much as I can. I'm a walker. I walk a lot. I don't own a car, what is very unusual for a German, but here we go. And I'm a bit of a politics nerd, so I read a lot about politics, not only about German politics, but around the world about politicians. And I am a supporter of the Bayern Munich and FC Liverpool Football Club. So there go my Saturdays and Sundays. So not this weekend because there is no league on. So this weekend I think I'm gonna
Michael,
enjoy. No, it's not. Still not. I'm desperate. I hope it's gonna start soon.
you don't own a car? Like
No.
the place where I am, people love German cars, by the
Yeah.
way.
German
Yeah,
love their cars.
yeah,
I'm very untypical German in that regard. I live in the
right.
city center of Hamburg. There is no need to drive. I can walk most of the time. And yeah, but it's always when I say to people I don't own a car, they look at me like something is very, very wrong with me. So let's just keep it at that.
Right. No, no, that's super interesting to know. So, Michael, maybe let's get into the first question, right, which
Yeah.
is around storytelling, right, which is I think your forte. So, if you could maybe tell us how one can actually solve problems, using human connections, storytelling, especially maybe so if you see the office of the CFO, B2B, these are considered very boring, right? But I think storytelling is like the other end of the spectrum, right? Which is like, typically storytelling is for a B2C, uh, consumer payments kind of a thing, right? So, maybe a little bit, tell us a little bit about how kind of, storytelling can help boring, uh, you know, processes or stuff like this office of the CFO, right?
I mean, when you think about storytelling itself, telling stories is there since human mankind exists, right? It's in different variations, books, fairy tales, obviously later movies, but it was always about telling stories because that's what touches people. And I think what we have to be aware, even the CFO is a human that has some very the normal life of a human as well when he steps outside of a CFO office. So, and so that means we human we respond to the same things most of the time at least, and part of it is emotion. And the emotions can vary, as you know. It can be fear, it can be excitement, it can be desperation. So we respond to that. So when we talk about in general as an overall frame, this is something that always connects with other people. I always compare it with like when we were young. Just imagine how it was when your parents did read you a story or told you a story. You didn't want it to end. So to transfer that right now into the business world, and I disagree with you a little bit because storytelling is not only for B2C, it's also for B2B because that's where the same mechanisms apply as well. So if we translate that to that in a world like today, where we are all bombarded with messages, where we have multiple devices that are switched on every minute of the hour, where you're going to see a tweet, but then you're going to see and go, oh, there's an Instagram story. Oh my God, there's an email from my client. Oh my God, there's an email from my boss. There's so much stuff coming in that we have to process, that we are in a fight for attention, right? And and this is going to get worse. So to really stand out and to come to a point where the audience that we want to reach is pausing and really considering even spending a minute or two with the things we have to say or be right, we have to somehow grab them. We have to touch them in the first minute with something that somehow that makes something with them. Otherwise, they're just going to scroll on because, right? Especially most of the stuff that is coming and that's still out of the business world is this it's replicable, right? You see it from A, B, C. They speak a similar language, so you know that already. So you know, why should I read? Why should I bother? And here's where storytelling comes in. It's like how to craft a story that makes your audience pause and really listen to you, because that's where it all starts. You can have the best products, you can have the best automated software, you can have the best client testimonials about how you help them to have a better cash visibility or something. No one is going to read it unless they're going to stop and pause and consider you. So that's where storytelling comes in, really to grab the audience, and with the story you have to tell.
Absolutely. I think attention is probably the rarest thing now, right? As in,
Yeah,
given so much distraction, and I think the only way to grab attention or to hypnotize is through effective storytelling, right? Where
yeah.
one captivates, right? So, Michael, tell me how, like, with your massive experience in your like career, right, in storytelling marketing, how does one foster a culture of storytelling within, let's say, an organization, right? And honestly, it doesn't need to be B2B office of the CFO, right? I think the a culture of storytelling needs to be there all across, right? Be it the office of the CFO, be it even anywhere, right? So how does really one, foster that culture?
It doesn't start with the storytelling. It starts with the, the language, the culture itself within the company. There are still a lot of companies who are very much focused on their internal things. And I understand that. We all need to sell products. We are excited about developments we do. We are excited about what we can achieve for our clients. So what we do is we talk all about us, how great our products are, how much we can have. Not how much we can have. Mostly, we are great products. We are so and so long in the market. We are this. What we don't talk about is about our audience. Our audience doesn't care about us for a second until they really know us. So it all starts in the company itself, and to understand that you have to transform your company and the way how you speak from this is us to the curiosity about who is my audience and what are their problems, and speak about their problems and not about you. So, but this is a huge mindset shift, right? Because companies have their own acronyms, they have their own slang, they have their own code, and especially in the technology industry, or also in engineering and other parts, you speak a kind of a code that the most humans don't understand. So they read that and they feel stupid. And I tell you that because it happens to me every day. I have a couple of really, really great friends who are engineers, who are software developers, who are IT people, and they are smart like no one else. And when they start to talk to me after 2 minutes, I want to go because I don't understand them. And that's the whole problem. When you scare the people away, the first minute they read from you because you talk to them in a way they don't understand, and it doesn't, and you don't talk about them and their problems. You know what? They're like, you know what? I'm out of here. See you later. I don't even see you later. I'm not considering you anymore. So, but it's really hard to shift that within the company because you talk like this all the time, to shift from your inside to the outside. So, but you have to do that first before you can really start to tell interesting and captivating stories. So when you have done that and you shift your focus to your audience and their problems, then you are capable to really think about, okay, I'm curious, what's keeping them up at night? What kind of stage they're in at the moment, what problems they have, and what is the desired stage they want to be. And that's how storytelling works, right? We all know how the Hollywood movies or the Lord of the Ring books, you have a protagonist, you have a hero. He has a problem. He's failing. He's desperate, right? And we are seeing him like, oh my God, right? But then somehow he finds a way. He finds a solution, and then he rises up, and then he's overcoming his problem, and then then he's walking into the sunset. And this is what we have to do with our stories. We have to understand this is my audience, have to think like them, have to speak like them, and have to take them on a journey where they understand, or where they see these people understand me. They know exactly what my problem is. And they even tell me what they have done or former clients to overcome it. Then they're going to start to listen.
Yeah.
But again, you can't fix that before you don't fix the language part and the whole mindset shift in the company first.
No, absolutely. I think getting the frequency right is the key, right? So how do you match the frequency with the folks one needs to connect with? So, Michael, my next area of discussion would be how does one identify these stories, right? So, how does uh, one find stories, topics which will resonate, right? So, like the target audience you really don't know, right? Sometimes it's like a black box. So what's the best way to kind of have your frequency match with them?
Listening is a first good start. Now, let's be honest. Most of the companies, they have the solution right in front of them. It's their clients. It's just talk to them, listen to them, ask them what their problems are. So, and I'm a marketer, and we are well known for the fact, especially in the past, that we didn't do that well enough, right? We were more looking into research and our gut feeling, and did some. But go to your clients, listen to them, ask your salespeople inside your company. When you are a marketer, talk more to them because they are in contact with your audience or with your clients every day. So this is a good resource to really understand what kind of topics drives them. Then do you have so many platforms right now also available where you can go to LinkedIn, connect with other people from your industry, connect with CFOs or with finance directors, listen what they post about, see what have a look what they post about, listen to maybe to LinkedIn groups about this. So you're going to get an idea there. Even stuff like Reddit can work. One thing that I think is a bit underestimated is go to websites where your competitors sell their products and look at the reviews and what people say. That gives you also a pretty good understanding what's their thinking about the services you have to offer and how it can help them or not. So I think that those are the areas where you have to look at. But I think it all starts with listening and also with the understanding that this takes time. This is not an effort where you say like, okay, right now I want to become a storyteller, and by next week I'm going to tell stories. This is not how it's working, right? Because you have to start like with everything with a strategy in mind. You have to know your buyer personas very well. That's going to take a while really to map that out. You have to be really, really aware about their problems. You can do focus groups, or as I said, you can speak to existing clients. You can do surveys. There are so many ways to do that. And then you have to analyze that, and then you have to match that also with your experience. What do you have to offer, and to find then the kind of the zone where all fits together, and then to define the topics you want to talk about, and we want to be known for. And when you have then to find the topics that are matching the buyer personas and their interests and their problems, then you have to start. Then the work starts, right? The content has to be produced to understand where you want to distribute it, all those kind of things. But it all starts with listening.
Yeah, yeah. I think you remind me of that example where I remember, in villages where, if they want to know whether the next train is coming, they keep their
Yeah,
ears on the
yeah.
track so that they know, right? So I think people are not really putting their ears now. I think that's what they should be doing. So I
Maybe
know what
they
I need to do. I probably need to go to g2.com tomorrow and see what
maybe
feedback people have. Or
maybe they are scared that they fall asleep while they're listening for the train, and then you know what's going to happen, right? So
yeah,
you never
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Good analogy,
Fantastic.
by the way. Good analogy.
Yeah. So, Michael, my next topic would be like, if you could give some maybe examples, right? Because, theory is fine, right? As in, the whole concept of storytelling is awesome, right? But maybe a little bit of examples of how storytelling has been effective, uh, stuff that maybe from your experience. I think you last served as the head and global director of communications for a large B2B FinTech SaaS, right? So maybe some examples which the audience can relate to in terms of how effective storytelling has been.
I mean, first of all, you have to understand the trends about the industry you're in and about the people you want to serve with your products and what's going on. So, for example, let's keep in your target audience. Let's talk about what problems have CFOs and finance department faced over the last couple of years, right? There is over the last 2 years, with everything that happened after was it started with COVID, then the Ukraine war, the whole economy in turmoil, inflation. So companies are, and then the whole thing that happened was tech startups, right? That were all just about growth all the time, and out of a sudden they figured out, oh my God, we have to finance that. When banks fail, who is financing that? And then all of a sudden, companies find out we have no idea how much cash we actually have on hand, and we have no idea. And it's not about, of course, you can say like, well, when I know that in 3 months, this is not how it's working today. You have to know it every day, because every day you have to make decisions. So out of a sudden, working capital and cash visibility became a much bigger topic, right? At the same time, finance departments also had a problem of a talent shortage. Out of a sudden, people quit their jobs, especially during COVID, and said, like, you know what, I'm going to do my own thing, hasta mañana. But when you then still are a finance department that is highly manual, and you need the workforce in there to keep your thing running and your department running, and you have nothing automated, and you still work with spreadsheets, you know what's going to happen to you when that happens? You are in trouble. my friend, right? Or just think about your CEO is asking you a couple of questions about financial data and you can't answer that because you don't have them. So this is what happened over the last couple of years for those departments, right? Talent scarcity, the lack of visibility, the lack of understanding. How long does it take until my clients pay? How long do we need to pay our service providers, our vendors? Yada. Your audience gets it. I'm just a marketer. I'm just talking, right? Your audience is in it every day. So you know that right now. So what kind of stories you can develop that captures the problem of this audience and shows them a way how to get out of it, where you can link then later on in the process, in the buyer's journey, later on to your products. So one idea that and you could have, you talked about the office of a CFO, and then there's also the question how you grab attention, how you can get attention. Different markets work in different way. I think if you were talking about a big market like the US, there's a different way how to communicate to your audience and to get their attention than it is when you talk with people in France or here in Germany. We are very serious people, as you know. And so to think about, for example, a market like in the US, how could we get maybe attention with the stories we tell? Could we maybe use humor a bit more in a market like this? Because this is where our audience maybe responds to in a way. Could we create a virtual office of the CFO that tells everyday stories about how the head of accounting is struggling with his team and with the manual processes, and then talks to the CFO, and the CFO is in trouble, can't go out of the office until 10 p.m., goes home and is like, oh my God, is that the rest of my life? So how can you craft maybe a comic series about that? So just to grab the attention first, right? And in the story where you tell stories about the real life problem of the audience and what they are going through at the moment, that also touches somehow a little bit their emotion, could be one idea. And there are multiple that you could do a video series about it. Again, you could, as I said, you can do a comic about it. You can write daily blogs about it, right? The day of, and you can even give those people names. You can make them real, right? Marcy, the manager accounts payable. Joe, the CFO, right? It's just, but you have to do it in a way that people respond to it and people see themselves in it. That's crucial, especially in today's world where still everything is still always a little bit like, look at us, look at us, look at us.
Great. No. So, Michael, my next area of discussion, I know we have like 9 minutes, and I have like a couple of topics to cover. And any discussion today without the
Let
word
me guess.
AI,
Let me.
is
I want to say yes, of course. Let's talk
so
ChatGPT.
yeah, let's talk ChatGPT, right? I'm also I also use ChatGPT pretty frequently, right? So in fact, I actually went on ChatGPT to check and put in the question, what is Hamburg famous for, by the way? So I just want to tell you the truth. But anyway, leaving that aside, if you could maybe talk a little bit about the impact of AI tools like ChatGPT on storytelling, how to use it when crafting a human story. So do you think one can use it along with the human element, like kind of work it together?
I mean, we are still in very early stages, and I think the development we have seen over the last couple of months is astounding, right? And there are multiple ways how you can use AI, and you can right now you even can analyze spreadsheets and all those things, but I don't talk about it because I have no clue about it. But when it comes to storytelling, I mean, crafting a story, writing a story is hard. It's what I think people really underestimate it until they are really in it. So ChatGPT can help you, for example, by selecting topics. You can ask ChatGPT, name me a couple of topics about this and this problem, and what people really face, and it gives you a couple of topics. What I would advise people is to really study it, because it all depends on how your prompts are written. So when you think, you can write me a story about a FinTech company. You're going to get something that's going to look like everything. Not everything. It's going to look even worse. So what you want is, you want to use the tool as a human in a way that it takes away some of the tasks that are repetitive, that are boring, But you still, as a human, you have to lead, you have to feed the machine, you have to. So what I usually do is I start with the topics. I let ChatGPT give me a couple of topics. I select the topic, and then I work with several prompts to fine tune the story, right? Then I ask, write me an outline. Then I work a little bit on the outline. Then I say, okay, start with, can you write me a text about point one? And then I look at it from my experience and try to make it more human, sound like me. So it will save you time for sure, and it will make our lives much easier. But I'm not a big fan of all these people saying like it's going to replace human, because nothing will replace humans and emotions. So what ChatGPT can't do is understand the emotions of your audience. So they have all the knowledge and all the know-how, and then they all the codes that they put in there, and it works and will work. But we as a humans, we still have this unique capability that no machine will ever have, to feel emotions, to feel people, to build true connections. And you have to bring that into the usage of AI, if in my opinion, when it comes to storytelling. Otherwise, you're going to be sound like most of the people, and we have discussed it at the beginning that this is not the stage you want to be in.
Yeah, yeah. No, so one thing is clear, that there's no way ChatGPT can replace the art of storytelling,
No,
because that's storytelling is something which is original, right? So I think
I
that's something
mean,
which I.
you don't know where this is going, right? I'm to be honest, I'm pretty amazed how fast everything developed, and I'm pretty sure they will do get better and better and better. But it's still, all those codes were written by humans. All those things are developed by humans. And so and as artificial as good as they are getting, I think there is still some element in humanity and us humans that we will need. It's that simple.
Sure. No, that's pretty interesting, and it's going to be interesting. Maybe, Michael, when we talk next, right? Things would have already evolved totally differently. Maybe a new tool has come
We
in, right?
can
So
bet
you
on
never
that.
know.
When we talk in a week, it's going to be already involved. So that's how it
Right,
goes.
right.
That's
And I'm
that's
sure
the
we're going to
days.
talk.
That's the days.
Right, right. So, Michael, last question, because I think we have like 3 minutes left. You know, what's your advice, right, to leaders, even like anybody who's starting out, right? How does one incorporate storytelling into their day-to-day life, right? I don't think it's storytelling doesn't need to be top down, right, at all levels, right? So, how does one really incorporate the whole concept of storytelling? That's my last question.
It has to do with a lot of time-consuming things such as learning, studying, and reading. So there are great people like Martin Neumeier, who is just one of the grand czars of storytelling. There are great books on storytelling. People on LinkedIn, follow them, see how they structure their stories. So this is one thing. So you really have to put the time in. I know that's really hard to do for people who are in the businesses and have to run businesses, but this is not. This is just, there's no shortcut to that. Then there's one thing that I think is not spoken about that often, but it is where I have seen a lot of people that I have worked with, or that started to tell stories and then stopped. That is, don't underestimate the emotional toll this is going to take on you. To put yourself out there with your name and with something you write is still something a lot of people shy away from, understandably so, because it's frightening. And it's a process that when you do it every day, it's something that can be, at some point it can be draining. So be prepared for emotional roller coaster ride when you're going to do that. And I'm talking right now about a single person who writes. When we talk about companies, how they implement it, again, as I said, it's not a shortcut. It has to be a part of the whole marketing plan. It has to be part of. It's actually, it should start with a brand exercise. The brand exercise really, and that also takes time. Like, who's my brand? What is my brand actually standing for? Why we exist? Why we are there in this world? Who we gonna talk to? What kind of stories we have to tell? So don't jump into it and say, like, I have to write stories right now. You have to do the prep work first. So my advice would be, start with the strategy, start with the big picture, and then break it down over months and weeks and months and maybe even years, and But yeah, don't think it's a 1 month exercise. It's not. Sorry.
Great. No, awesome. So I know we're really short of time, Michael. So maybe a last few words in terms of if people want to know. I know you write super posts on LinkedIn, right? So what's the best way? Do they follow you on LinkedIn, Twitter? So
No,
maybe some parting
um,
thoughts as to how do they keep in touch with you and maybe listen to
I'm
some ideas on storytelling.
I'm a one platform guy. I'm only on Instagram to stalk my daughter, and I'm just on Twitter because I forgot my password and I can't delete my account. I'm on LinkedIn at Michael Kirsten.
Okay.
So if you want to follow me, I mean, I would be happy to do so. Also, if you want to send me a DM or just want to have a chat about to explore on what we have talked for the last half an hour, just reach out. I'm on the platform every day, and I'm definitely gonna answer. I might gonna take sometimes a day like I did with you. I'm so sorry for that. But yeah, reach out to me there, and yeah, then let's have a human conversation.
Perfect.
I promise I'm not writing my messages in ChatGPT.
No, no, no. It shows. I don't think ChatGPT is evolved enough to write those. So, Michael, thank you so much. I really
Always a
appreciate
pleasure.
the time, and I'll talk to you soon. So, thank you again.
Looking forward to it. Thank
Bye.
you so much for
Yeah.
having me. Have a good day. See ya.